pjnet.tv. It is 9:30, and it is time for Dale Didway, who is standing by at his home office in the great state of Ohio. Our chat room is waiting on him. We're running our bumper, we're recording, we're streaming, we're counting down to Studio 13, starting now. Well, welcome or welcome back, as the case may be. This is pjnet.tv. I'm your host, Coach Prasick, and twice a month, Dale Didway comes our way. And tonight, he's actually the world's most interesting man, but he is also quite acclaimed as an author. So besides all the interesting things that he does, like you went to Pittsburgh, I think, last weekend.
Yeah, I was in Pittsburgh. Well, I love that city.
And
so took in a couple of games of the Pirates at PNC Park. So it's always good to go there.
Yeah. Did you buy a ticket and like everybody else, or did you use your press credentials to get into the media?
Yes. I'm not paying tickets. So, a nice meal and everything. So it was good.
You did. And so, and your home, of course, is in Ohio, not Pennsylvania. So you took a trip to, and I think Angie went with you, didn't she?
Not this trip. No, she did not go on this trip. No.
Okay.
So she had to stay back home.
Well, that's good. To feed the deer.
Yeah.
I want some deer in my yard.
We got a few. We got a few of them. They're awesome.
You do. Well, Dale, you have such an interesting life. Now, you were there on some other business as well, I believe.
I was. Right. I was there for work, and then if I can take in a few games somewhere, after next week I'm going to parts of West Virginia for a few days. I'm going to Morgantown and a few others, so always enjoy traveling.
I'm glad you do, because you're on the road quite a bit.
Yeah, we just applied. Hopefully, we'll get them. We just applied for our Bengals credentials for the upcoming season. I mean, a good chance. I mean, I should get them, but you never know. I mean, they can always deny you, I guess. But we've been covering them for a long time. We just bought tickets to Dallas because the Bengals will be playing in Dallas this year. So I'm looking forward to going to that. Hopefully, that's the second game of the season. And it's a tough schedule where they have coming out.
Well, yes, and being the team that they were last year, that was quite impressive. And they don't get the draft picks, and everybody wants to knock them off. So, when they were struggling, press credentials, they were probably just glad that you were interested.
Yeah, there would be several games when there would be just a few people. There'd be a lot of empty seats up in the press box. I don't envision that this year. I envision everybody jumping on the bandwagon, and get a lot more coverage. They have 5 primetime games, which is kind of big.
Does longevity of coverage count for anything in those
I
applications?
think so. Yeah. If you've been there for a while, you got a good shot at it. So
because the Johnny come latelys, when you're winning, all the press is interested, but boy. Lose 5 games in a season, and you'll find out that.
So hopefully we'll be okay, but you never know. There's no guarantee.
Well, it's good to have the accolades. They almost pulled off the biggest win since, when was it? Boomer Esiason?
Yeah, well, 31 years ago. Yeah, I mean, on that last play of the game, I mean, he had a receiver open. He just didn't have time to get the ball to him. So really. If Burrow would have had probably 3 more seconds, he may have seen Chase breaking free because he was open, going streak into the end zone, nobody on him, and Burrow had not enough time to get to him. So
I'm sure he watched it in the game film.
We saw it. We all saw it. We saw it from our view. We said he's open, but then by the time we looked back, and Burrow had 3 guys on him. So,
gosh. Well, you yourself had, I noticed on your Facebook feed, you got quite not just an accolade, 3.
Yeah, we're happy. We're very happy with that. We just found out actually, right before, just a couple hours ago, the Indy Book Awards. It's prestigious, and there's a nice awards. We didn't win first, but we came pretty close. So we're finalists in those categories, and they'll send us a nice little medal, and that's always nice to be recognized for your work. So
I didn't take notes, but let's talk Dugout Devotions 2. What category was it finalist?
That was in two categories. It was for Christian nonfiction and Christian inspirational.
And then, of course, First Down Devotions 2
was Christian nonfiction.
Christian non. Yeah, it was probably one of the endorsements that got it
Had
into
to be,
that.
yeah.
Had to be.
And then Kentucky Passion won for general market for motivational. So John was very happy about that. That's the first time he's won an award, so he was happy.
How coincidental! Baseball, basketball,
Yeah.
football.
Got them all covered there. That's awesome. So we're very grateful for that. I mean, it never gets old. So you always like to have your stuff recognized. And I had some really nice messages last week when I was in Pittsburgh for some folks I don't know and never met them. They sent me, one lady had sent me a Facebook message saying that her son played on a select little league baseball team, was traveling, and she wanted to buy a bunch of books to give out to the players. And so I put her in contact with our publisher, who made arrangements to get the book sent to her at a kind of a bulk rate discount, which she was grateful for that. And I was just glad she reached out to me.
Well, it's good that things are turning around, because last year was like an eclipse. The year 2020 and 2021. Well, it took its toll on a lot of industries, but publishing and writing were no exceptions. Writers had time to write, but publishers couldn't publish.
Exactly. So there was a lot of that going on. People had a lot of time to write, but as you said, there was some publishers going out of business, and they couldn't get products into stores because stores weren't open. So it was a catch-22, and there's been some changes going on. In fact, I got an email from my agent the other day, and me and another author had submitted a book in the general market, and he had said he's had been informed by some editors that the use of the words girls and boys is insensitive and offensive in today's marketplace.
Oh.
And wanted to know if we want to switch our stuff around. And I'm like, no. It's exclusive and not inclusive. Last I checked, and I've checked for a long, there's a boy and a girl. There's nothing else. I don't care what you say. There is nothing else. You're a male or a female. That is all there is.
Dale, you probably, I hope that you and others will see this. I saw something on Facebook today that I think captured it. It was a T-shirt that says there are more than two genders. And of course the rainbow, thing, And of course then it showed the Amazon page you order it, and you can order it for men or for women.
Yes. You go back and look. You go look at the animals in the animal world. You never see I've never seen pictures of two male lions hooking up with each other, or two male monkeys. It's a male and a female. Period. That's all there is. There's no gray areas. It's black and white there.
Survival of the species is predicated upon reproduction. It's,
any other thing, in my opinion, is just pure rebellion.
Oh, Dell, I forgot to ask you the Indie Awards. INDIE. What is that exactly? I thought I got the impression that was for independently published, but obviously not.
No, it's not. It's for, you can enter if you're independently published, as long as it's published. But some of them have stipulations that it has to be a publisher, has to be in stores, and those kind of things like that. So you can't just enter anything. But I really don't know who the Indie Generations is. I mean, I've won a few of their awards, but just one of those ones you just always enter the Next Generation Indie Book Awards. So it might be, I don't know. I'll research that. Maybe somebody out in the chat world lets me know about it.
How do you know? There's everybody out there doing this stuff, how do you know what to enter and what not to enter? What factors come into play?
Well, some of them are. I mean, you mean how is it eligible to be entered?
Well, how do you, as a, I assume you have to enter. And
Yeah,
I assume there's some monetary consideration to enter.
yeah, not much. Publishers sometimes let you know. Um, in some cases, they let me know about this a few years ago. So I've always kept my eye out for it. And so once you get connected with them, they'll send you reminders. Hey, you're going to enter this year, things like that. And I don't enter all of them because yeah, it would bankrupt you if you entered every contest, and I just do a few. And that's great. I mean, publishers and agents, they love to see authors who won awards, and
Mm-hmm.
so that's it. But I could go crazy and enter everything, and what's that going to get me? It's going to give me nothing. So,
Mm-hmm.
but so I do a few. And I was happy Kentucky Passion, won one because that was, like I said, John's first award. So happy for him about that. And we've entered about every book. I think I'm looking at them now. Yeah, everything I've written, even the Auburn book has won something. So
Well,
gee whiz.
and yeah, I guess the typical, when we think about awards, there's first, there's second, and there's third. But I noticed that you don't see that much. You see the winner, and then you see finalists. And I wonder, are they gaming the system here? Are there more than three finalists? Maybe.
Well, no, there's in each category. This contest has a gazillion entries, and
Hmm.
so if you're a finalist, you're like John asked me that the other day. He said, how many in our motivational category, how many books are entered? And I think there's probably 30 books have entered that category. So we're one of the finalists, which is about the top 5 or 6, which is always good. Now, some still give first, second, third, like the SELAs down at the Blue Ridge Mountain Christian Writers Conference. He always gives out a first place, and they notify you if you're a finalist. And
Hmm.
a finalist typically, I can't speak for them, I'm just going by my experience. Typically, a finalist will be in the top 4,
Hmm.
and then the top 3 get the award, or top 3 or 4 or 5, but they give a first, second, third.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
Well, speaking of indie, it's the month of May.
yeah, it is. Yeah, I am not going this year.
Huh?
Just too much going on. I love going to the race. Love going to the 500. Just not able to this year. Just one, the interest there is with my the boy I used to coach is not in the race this year, so it's a little less appealing for me. But I mean, I'll definitely get back to it. It's just a little too much going on right now to do that, and with the new job and some other things going on, it's just impossible. But I'd love to be there. The whole month of May is fun. You see tailgating like you've never seen before in your life. They'll put any major college tailgaters to shame. I don't care what school you go to. If you're Alabama, you're Louisiana, or Ohio State or Michigan, if you think you're a tailgater, no, you got to go to Indy 500.
How many people are attracted to Indianapolis? I mean, they string this thing out all month, don't they?
It's all month. Yes, it is literally the whole month of May, and the actual track, any motor speed. Woo, man! Oh man, you blew me out there. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There's speculations, but there's roughly about seats. There are actual seats of about 270,000 people, but that doesn't count the infield. That doesn't count all the people roaming around. So when all the days done, there's about 700,000 to 800,000 people at that race on a Sunday, and that's a lot of people going into a little village. And it's not a big place where it's held. Indianapolis Motor Speedway is an enormous track, but it's in the middle of this little town, and you see side streets and people have their yards. It's just a little village, but it's overtaken for the whole month, and um, it's just an amazing spectacle, the greatest spectacle in racing, but the greatest spectacle fan experience I've ever been around. So it's incredible. There's fields and fields of RVs and with their generators going the entire month, and it's just amazing to see people take off work for the whole month and just sit there in their RVs. So
the funny thing is Indianapolis has maintained its status.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
yeah. Where NASCAR stock car racing is the big deal.
It is,
but Indianapolis has hung on.
Yeah, and I've never really covered a NASCAR event, but there's you get to talk to folks who cover both. And there's one guy I've met several times. He's a NASCAR junkie, loves it, eats it up. And I said, "How do you compare this to NASCAR?" And he goes, "Oh, there's a comparison. This is the best show in the world." But he said other Indy racing is not. He goes to other races and it's not the same. He said there's just something about Indianapolis 500, and there is. It's the pageantry about it, the history, the patriotism. It's a very patriotic event. It's on Memorial Day weekend, so there's a lot of veterans being honored and a lot of patriotic songs being sung. So if you don't love America, you're going to feel really uncomfortable.
Out of place.
You're going to run into a bunch of rednecks who love America, and who will stand up and salute the flag. And by golly, if you don't, we better watch out.
Well, and I used to go. I was invited by a company we did business with, but it would usually be over Mother's Day weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was the time trials at that point.
Oh, those are fun.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a big. I like drag racing personally. I'm not into just watching cars run laps. But what impressed me is I get there, and I see this car go by. Whew,
yeah.
And then about 3 seconds later,
yeah, you hear it. Yeah, it's an amazing sound, and it only happens there. And in fact, I shared one of the videos I had with Zach a couple of years ago there on Facebook. The other day it popped up, and yeah, it's just an amazing feeling, amazing race. I've covered a lot of events, and it's probably the best I've ever covered. I love going to the Indy 500, and I'm not a race fan, but it's just the event. I get there on race day. If I'm going, I'm get there about 4:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning at the track, and because they advise that in order for the parking, you better get it there, or they tell you if you're working the event, get in there about 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And we did. I had John there one year with me about 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's surprisingly enough that place is hopping at 5 a.m. There's all the workers are there getting ready for the show. They got cots set up for us. They have a big breakfast buffet for us and coffee, and it's just well-run machine. That thing is well-run, and yeah, all the TV crews are there at 4:30 set up. It's just a fun event to cover, and then you just watch people trickle in when they open the gates, and the people watching is just amazing because they got the red carpet and all the quote-unquote celebrities who I don't care about are there, and people just go crazy over that stuff. And then when the racers are introduced, it's just it's just an incredible event to cover. I've gone to chapel there a couple of times on race day. It's kind of an eerie feeling because you'll see some racers at this thing. And at chapel who may not be believers, but they're believers that day.
Yeah, Foxhole. What is the significance of Brickyard?
Well, you have the finish line is brick.
Why?
Yeah, the start and finish line is brick, and that brick runs the entire length. It goes from one end to the other. So it's really kind of be something fun to kind of research and learn a little bit of history about it, because it's great history at that place. And the Brickyard, it's what it's called there.
Yeah, so there's one strip of brick, that wide, and so it's called the Brickyard.
It's the finish line. That's where they officially. And in fact, one race I was there on race day. We were walking around that morning. We saw some ashes, some white stuff on the bricks.
Huh.
And we thought, well, what is that going? So they missed something. They said, no, that's somebody's urn. They wanted they were cremated, and their wishes was to be on the bricks on the Indy 500 on race day, to be scattered on the bricks, and then they were. And so we saw, when they drove on their first lap, a big white puff of smoke. Poof.
It does.
So it's kind of cool.
dust, ashes to ashes, dust to dust,
Yeah,
so to speak.
yeah.
What impressed me when I was up there, we went to some of the driving schools and got to
Yeah.
drive some of the training cars,
Yeah.
race in them, which are powered, by the way, by a Ford Pinto motor. And they swear by that motor. The thing that impressed me is the international scope.
Yeah.
The drivers' names that cannot be pronounced.
Uh-huh.
And it's dominated, by manufacturers. It's not just Dodge, Chevy, and Ford. It's Mitsubishi, it's Honda, it's Acura. It's all of these. A lot of international influence in that race.
Yeah. Oh, there are. I mean, yeah, it goes dates way back, and I was just doing some research here. The tradition of kissing the bricks was started by NASCAR driver Dale Jarrett, after he won the Brickyard 400 in 1996. He bent down and kissed the bricks. So now everybody kisses the bricks. That was started in NASCAR, and the Brickyard 400 obviously was the name of the NASCAR event that won. And estimated 250,000 people there, but no, it's yeah. So I love to reading things like that and researching. So anyway, that's where that came from.
Makes for good copy.
It does. I like it. I like it.
How far is Indianapolis from you?
3.5 hours.
That's a good little drive.
There was one year when it was the year I had the kidney stone attack there. I had the kidney stones on a Tuesday night there, and then ER visit and all that stuff like that. But went home because my oldest son was getting married on Saturday. The race was Sunday, so I came home on like Thursday. The wedding rehearsal was Friday. They said the wedding was Saturday. I left the wedding about, I went home, got a little nap, went about midnight and left to go to the race, and got there about 4 in the morning. And so that was the week I had two kidney stone attacks, so plus a wedding. So that was a great year.
So from where you live, you can travel and be entertained at Indianapolis. You can travel and be entertained in Pittsburgh.
4.5 hours.
And what other direction can you go to seek out some sports indulgement?
Cincinnati's just right at 2 hours for me. I'll be going there a lot this fall, and then Columbus is 2 hours away, and Pittsburgh's not too far. Cleveland's 4 hours. So I'll be scoping out the road games and going to Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Nashville, Dallas, maybe Tampa, just because it's Tampa. I mean, who doesn't want to go to Tampa? But during the winter time, right? So
okay. Tampa has I used to carry them on the radio station where I worked, and this was back when John McKay was the coach.
Yeah.
I always had to have a 13-second delay on his interviews. he uncorked some real salty language, but they were so bad. They were awful.
They were bad.
And we were offered tickets to every home game, and I did go. But I'll never forget when we went to this game, and here are the Pittsburgh Steelers in Tampa on a hot day. It was early in the season. On a hot day. And Tampa, you're probably aware of this, the home team has the election to decide what jersey to wear. In other words, dark or white. Now, by tradition, the home team wears dark. Okay, they don't have to, but that's the tradition. You can always tell who's the home team. Most times you'll be right. Whoever's wearing dark is the home team. Well, Tampa elected to wear white because it was like, and Pittsburgh is down there. They're from up north, and they are down here in the sweltering humidity wearing these black jerseys.
Well, yeah, I know. Of course, Dallas goes away from that. Dallas typically wears white on their home field because of the old tradition back when, back years and years and years ago when the first league was, in its infancy stages, the home teams wore white. They wore their white color jerseys. That was a long time ago.
I wonder when it changed.
And then it changed around mid to early 80s. It's when they started wearing dark uniforms.
Yeah.
For home games. But Dallas still wears white on their home games.
Really?
The only one that does that, actually.
I haven't. No, I will be paying closer attention to that.
Every home game, the Dallas Cowboys, they are wearing white.
Well, I know in the '70s when I was playing football, we were, our travel whites.
Yeah,
it was just kind of it's a
I
tradition.
know. It is, but still, this is the way it goes. Yeah, notice the Cowboys.
Okay. Well, Dell, I'm looking at the clock. What
Yeah.
do we got? You'll be back early next
weeks.
month. What's going on between now and then?
Oh man, we got a lot going on. We've got the one submitted. Me and a fellow author combined for a manuscript, and our agent's pushing it. But obviously, we're getting feedback that it's offensive because it says girls and boys. So we may. We're not. I'm not going to change it. I don't care if it sells or not. I'm not bowing down to the mob. And so we're starting another one. Actually, I was on the phone with the publisher last week about another possibility. I have to get a proposal to them, and talking. I got a couple of real good stories. I may be coming down that way to Tampa here and talking to somebody about a book. It's really a great story, but I'll let you know more later on. But we got that going on. Might be going to the Memorial Tournament and covering that. That's coming up pretty soon up in Columbus, the PGA event.
Uh-huh.
And when I have some spare time, but just a lot of fun things going on.
Well, Dale, I don't know where you pack it all in, but I'm glad that you do, and I'm glad that you take time to share it with us because not all of us can live the dream like you are, and I can kind of vicariously experience this thing, all this traveling you're doing, and all this, and I can't eat like you eat. If I ate like you eat, based on the things I see on social media, I would gain 30, 40 pounds.
Well, I go to the gym every day, so I can do that. So.
You pay for it. Okay, so yeah, I run about around 3 miles 4 times a week. That burns about 300 calories.
Yeah.
About
300. So, oh well, but yeah, so that's why I do that. But yeah, it's always fun to go out and eat things, and try new restaurants, and that's why I love going to Pittsburgh. Some of my favorite restaurants are up there.
Yeah. All right. Well, enjoy and bring us your report when you see you next time. But thanks for sharing and congratulations on
thank you.
3 wonderful awards or finalists or whatever they are. But there are more to come, and I'm sure we'll find out from you when that happens as it happens. So we'll see you next time around, Dale. Love you, brother.
Thanks for everybody for being out there. Have a good evening.
All right. Dale Didway. Boy, it wasn't that long ago he had not written a book. An amazing story, an amazing journey, and he's so gracious to share it with us here on pjnet.tv. That's going to wrap it up for tonight, but we will be back tomorrow night. It's been wonderful. We provide a place for everyday Christians to just share their walk with Christ, and it's such an honor to have so many people appear and share with us what God is doing in their lives. What's God doing in your life? Got a couple questions for you. You don't have to answer me. But answer yourself candidly. First question is, what is the boldest thing that you've ever done for Jesus Christ? And the second question is, how long ago was that? And the challenge is to never be satisfied with either answer.